I've had a bit of mustache now, it'll be like a Magnum PI business. I mean, look, she's a Dodge, she's a Ram, she's a Hemi. You can't really say more than that, you know what I mean? GT3 RS, obviously this is a track day car. Woo!
I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. Look at the beautiful stars, I wanna drive a faster car.
Later on, I'll be giving you more advice on buying and selling cars. This week, we're going to talk about companies like WeBuyAnyCar.com. They may be a good idea for you and they may not be. I'm going to go through a few tips of the trade.
This episode deals with what happened with that rascally red rocket ship. Yes, it had the underpinnings and the floor pan of a Pontiac Fiero, the running gear of a monstrous V8 Cadillac Rumble, but it had the beautiful styling of a Ferrari F40 without that £1 million price tag. And I knew of a fun-loving caraholic who might just fancy adding this bogus brute to his collection.
Hopefully you've seen part 1 where I got my Ferrari Rocher, as I nicknamed it, up and running with my buddy Scott. Then the second part where I snuck into a proper Ferrari and Lamborghini show and fooled just a few members of the public. Back in 2018, I was on a TV show called Scrapyard Supercar Challenge, which you may have seen on Dave and other channels. One of the hosts of the show was a guy called Shane Lynch, and we got on very, very well. You might not realise that as well as being a world famous member of the band Boyzone, Shane is a massive car guy. Shane's father was a mechanic and he grew up watching his dad work on cars. Then he became a mechanic himself before he was asked to audition for the band Boyzone. Plus, in recent years he's competed at many different drifting events. I called Shane up and told him about my Ferrari Rocher, as I nicknamed it. He was more than interested in the vehicle. Basically, the car just had to be as I described it, and it would be passed on to the main man from Boyzone. We had a price agreed in principle, but as I got up way before dawn and drove all the way to Shane's facility in Manchester, I knew that if the car didn't start or something went wrong while Shane was looking it over, there was no way on earth he would pay the price we'd agreed. So I was a little bit worried about that.
Oh. Hello. How you doing, man? You alright? Looking good, man.
As I unloaded the car from my recovery truck, I wondered if this really was going to be the last time I saw the car as I knew it, my Ferrari Rocher. Or perhaps not, it wouldn't start and the entire deal would be shelved. Thank God it started. Shane's first impressions were positive. What you think then?
You know what? Straight out the box, she looks well, really well. Obviously, when it comes to the interior and all that,
You're stuck in 1982.
you're stuck if you like some, oh yeah, I've had a bit of mustache now, it'll be like a Magnum PI business. Fair play. It is what it is, right?
It is, man.
These episodes are brought to you by the amazing guys at Avalon Kings. I was fortunate enough to meet Dave from Avalon Kings a few years ago when I was filming with another legend, Ed Bolian from VinWiki.
If you've seen part 1 of this fake Ferrari F40 escapade, you'll know that one of the biggest issues with the car was its battery, so I used my jump pack to get the Ferrari Rocher started up. And Shane was keen to do some donuts in it as it wasn't road legal at this time, so that's basically the way he could put it through its paces. Once he had worked out the gearbox, that is. So I thought first was next to R, but I could be wrong. Because it's a Renault gearbox, a modern Renault, so I think if you go into second and then go forward to first. That's second, I think. Problem is, I forgot I left the jump pack attached. My jump pack went for the fastest donut ever. Yeah. There you go, guys. The fastest jump pack in the world.
You know what?
It's fun, isn't it?
It's not bad, you know. £1,000,000 donuts.
Not too shabby, eh?
Good.
Being a drift driver means that Shane's donuts are more professional, if you know what I mean. I'm pleased to say that Shane didn't look too disappointed with how the fake prancing horse was performing in his paddock. But he has some big ideas about what to do with my old baby.
Yeah, by the time you finish with that, she's going to be absolutely epic. I mean, as a starter car, it just looks the part, without a doubt.
From 40 feet you'd be full, right?
I'll tell you, listen, with a lot of love, I want to make this thing 800 brake, an LS exhaust, sequential box, and this will slow most machines on the road.
The car had some big white stripes when I brought it from the stunt driver Terry Grant. These decals were a bit dated in my opinion. I suspect the real reason Terry put them on the body in the first place was to hide a multitude of nicks, scratches and bumps. Shane was keen to give this fake thoroughbred a proper inspection. He's definitely a piston head through and through.
You open that one, then you open the other side, and then behind the driver's seat, you've got a little lever. Here, you grab all that and just...
Okay.
Obviously all your panels just twist off and you're in there.
Hey, good old Terry fashion, a million belts.
What's that?
A million belts.
A million belts and about 10 coolant reservoir caps that don't fit.
They don't fit.
Basically, I took the coolant reservoir cap off and it was so rusty, I just cleaned the seal out and rubber sealed it on, and it hasn't overheated or anything like that. And then the front clamshell is just the same. You've got another, you will need two of you to shut it though, the front one. It's a bit of a pain in the arse.
That's right, I think that's the original is like that anyway.
And you've got a sexy original Ferrari bonnet stay. And down. OE that is. But it did get hot a few times, but...
Yeah, you can see that. She's so sorry having a little leak there, but you know what? I have to say, as a straight out car, looking at it, she's tidy like.
It's a bit of fun, isn't it? And
no, she's tidy.
Terry had the wheels made, they're one-offs,
yeah.
Complete one-offs, so the back ones are super wide. But it kind of suits it, doesn't it?
Do these pop-ups work, you know?
They are not plugged in, I don't think.
But all the mechanisms in
The
there,
mechanisms there,
yeah,
everything's there, so...
Wow. Did you see the gas monkey one? The black?
Oh my god, I saw that in real life.
Have you?
Yeah, when I went to SEMA 2019 or 2018, right. It was there and it was just unbelievable, mate. It was...
To be fair, that's kind of what I'm going to go for.
That car was...
How does that pop back in? Is it like a little...
It's just a... But if you pull, you have to pull the front lower valance out, it gets caught. But that car was amazing, what they did with that. It sold and then they saw it again, didn't they? It was up for sale again.
Yeah. It's gone a few times, a few different times, but you know, I think that car in itself, just the all black Ferrari, it just looks amazing.
Yeah.
And the way he's vented up here instead and used these as original
Headlights, yeah.
regular headlights and stuff. So there's a lot of things to be taken from other people's builds.
It's nice when people say, oh, you've copied something. It's never ever copying something. It's just taking like ideas, you know. People started off, everyone that designs a car at some point has copied it from somewhere, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? So
Generally speaking.
it's not even a copy, it's just basically taking people's ideas as inspiration.
Well, listen, I'm not all black everything man anyway.
That's it, so
regardless of, this is always going to be all black.
But we had a guy at the car show pull up next to it in a real Ferrari and get out and go, oh my god, I've never seen a real Ferrari F40. And some 9-year-old kid went and said, mate, that ain't a Ferrari.
No, it will be. She don't be fucking nice. Fair play to Terry.
What's that?
I said fair play to Terry. It's alright.
It's funny, people take a piss out of me for what I buy. They're like, why would you buy that? It's never going to make any money. I'll buy off Terry, make a few grand, everyone wins, you know. And same with you, like, what's going on with Dream Machine now? Is that done? Is it coming back?
No, Series 1 was done, so we did 25 episodes. Series 2, I'm just trying to make a deal at the moment with a particular large shopping centre to do live shows, basically.
That'd be
so
cool,
live audience, live shows, live draws. We'll probably tap it back to maybe once a month. We're trying to build a stage in the ultimate man cave in this shopping centre, so it's a big kind of attraction and a draw for people.
That'd be awesome.
And if that goes off, then great. So we're looking at September for that. So this building here is still a working studio. We're still filming here. We're still doing different, basically change out on. So there's the Bronco there, which is mine. We're just doing a deal with Lister.
Yeah.
So Lister have been, obviously, he's been leading in the GTs for many years, GT1s, with the Lister Storm. So we're literally trying to do a Lister Bronco, which is going to be absolutely epic. And that's our next build for that. The Arash, the AF10, I mean, that's 1.2 million sat there. I've just bought that off Arash. And the reason why I bought it is because it came down here for the car show. This building here now is called the SETI Performance. So it's pretty much everything to do with supercars, hypercars, and upgrades. Tuning centre, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I bought this car came down for a bit. I fell in love with it, and well, that's it. I bought it. So
that's the problem with you, isn't it? If you want it, you have it.
And I think this is the thing, right? There's 1.2 million sat there, and there's a what did you call it? A Ferrari.
Ferrari Rocher.
You know, I don't mind what I get involved in. I love projects. I love cars. I love what I love, from a fake F40 to an AF10. You know, technically, if this was a real F40, you've got a couple of million sat here without a shadow of a doubt. But this kind of project here will excite me more because I could do more. I can get involved. I can become me, and to kind of take this from what it is into a GT spec, probably an LSXR, sequential box, all that kind of stuff. 800 brake in this machine will be unbelievable. Obviously we've got to get it to stop as well as it's going to go. But we'll make it into a beautiful machine. And I don't have to worry about this one as much as I worry about that.
If you throw that into a pillar or into a fence, you can fix it for nothing, you know.
You can fix it. Bit of fiberglass and away you go.
But if you throw that into a post, you might struggle to get a few pieces.
You know, she's fully carbon fibre, that thing, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. So, you know, when you kind of flip for having fun in machines, she's going to be a fun machine all day long.
Very cool, man. Talk to me about what you got in there then. So you've got a lovely GR in the corner, which everyone's going crazy over at the moment.
Do you know what is a crazy thing, this little GR? We bought it as a company simply to, which is a bit of a mad thing to do. But here we do PPF, which is paint protective film.
Yeah.
And the whole PPF has gone mad because people are now realising what it is, A, for retro cars to have original paint protected, and obviously your £100,000 plus cars that everyone's kind of protecting is important if you can have your original paint. Obviously the Testarossa is another level. But we bought this in because of the carbon roof. And believe it or not, these here, this is actually a vinyl. on here that Toyota do themselves, like that's straight out the box. But under here is original carbon, which is a really weird thing. So we're gonna strip this off, we're gonna pull the roof off basically, and we're gonna basically PPF the original carbon that's under here. So, and it's got like an interwoven carbon. It's not quite.
It's not as pretty, is
no,
it?
It's not pretty at all until you take it off. It's got that crushed carbon. So it's actually really nice. So we're just gonna polish it up, PPF it up, and you know, kind of reveal what's actually on the car itself.
It's cool little car, man, isn't it? I mean, they're not crazy money, but it's crazy amount of fun for like the small amount of horsepower it's got. It's power to weight ratio of a Ferrari, but in Toyota, you know?
People have gone mad for them, absolutely mad for them, man. Do you know, when you drive it, it is a great driver, and it will do donuts like no tomorrow. Like, it's a crazy little machine for stuff like that as well. But as a car for every day, when you see someone driving one, they're definitely a motorsport head. You don't just kind of like stumble across one of these.
Some old lady's not going to
buying.
She's not going to Iceland to pick up our groceries.
Absolutely.
That is just unbelievable.
This is a customer's car, just came in for PPF. Again, you know, just talking about the retro stuff. She's had a colour change on this one, but it's been done pretty nice. It used to be red, as a lot of Ferraris used to be red, but she's gone black. I nearly bought it myself.
It does scream Shane Lynch, doesn't it?
Do you know what? After I drove it, it's kind of like that. Don't be your heroes, kind of.
Yeah.
They are a little bit rough. They are a little bit.
They don't drive like anything nice.
A bit edgy, a little bit. Like, if you're a driver and you really want to get in a machine, you've got to drive these cars.
Yeah.
You've got to drive.
And you've got to drive them all the time, otherwise they deteriorate. You leave them for a month, 2 months, and that's when the problems start, you know?
Absolutely. Everything starts to perish in these cars, and you know, yeah, you either have to have a little bubble, or else you have to just drive them things. And I think for me, I got too many cars wrapped around me that I don't drive already. Do you know? And that's my problem.
Yeah.
I have cars that sit in corners and perish, which is a horrible thing to do. GT3 RS, obviously this is a track day car. Obviously she's road legal, but purposely track day car pretty much.
Look at the cage and that.
Yeah, she's a great machine, I have to say. Like, I've always been a Porsche guy from a little kid. My old man brought home his first 911. It wasn't his, like a customer's car, because car mechanics and all that kind of stuff. And I fell in love with Porsches, absolutely fell in love with Porsches ever since. And I've pretty much always had a Porsche in my life, from by the age of 19, or thereabouts. So I think for all day, when it comes to money and when it comes to servicing any cars and putting brakes on cars and putting clutches in cars and all that kind of stuff, your Porsches, your Ferraris, your Lamborghinis, they're just so much money compared to a Porsche, that is, really. But all your high-end stuff is crazy, crazy money. The G Squared, she's actually a replica build, so that's...
Didn't you build this last time I was up here, or you had someone building this?
Possibly, yeah. She was in build for quite a while. It is up on portals. It is like done properly. It's not just a body lift or anything.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing machine, and she's probably one of my favourite actually. Considering up on those portals, 37-inch tyres, it actually drives like a dream. A lot of these stuff you jack up and they just go to crap.
Like dog shit.
They absolutely go to crap. But because these particular, obviously they're German-built portals. And if you don't know what a portal is almost like a differential, and the differential itself kind of goes on each individual wheel. That's what gives it its height.
Right. Okay. So that basically, that's the reason it's so high, because when you look under it, it's quite staggering to see the actual suspension is non-existent. It's not there. You're right up in the air. So what's that do? It like basically drops the actual hubs down.
Yeah, so what you see a lot of people jacking up any machine is the axle stays down low, and they've just kind of body lift and tire lift. Well, what the portals do is it's basically like a big differential that bolts onto your hub, and then once that bolts onto the hub, you still have all your wheel placements down here. So there's a set of gears that run through each portal.
But it's the same as the people do the belt drive kits as well for them. So I'm not
sure.
Have you seen them? They've got like snow tracks on each.
Yes. Yeah, it's a similar thing that bolts onto the hub, and then you've got obviously your big track. Yeah, correct. So that's what gives you your height. And all your axle clearance, basically.
And then you've got a bit of me over here. So
you know, this Hemi. I mean, look. She's a Dodge, she's a Ram, she's a Hemi. You can't really say more than that, you know what I mean?
The thing is, these are things that have come down in price so much over the last sort of 5 years. I mean, everyone in the UK was assuming like a Dodge Ram is crazy money, you know? when you go to the US, this is like driving a Mondeo. You know, it's nothing to them. And people start realising over here that you can get them relatively for a reasonable price.
No, 100%, you're right. And I think, like, I'm a truck lover. I've always been a truck lover. I don't know if you know Colt Seavers, the Fall Guy. And I mean, once I seen that as a kid, his pickup truck, I fell in love. And my first wagon I ever bought was a Toyota Hilux single cab, just because of like American style pickup trucks. And then eventually, as you get older, I'm blessed to be able to have a Hemi. And I actually bought this for my dad, because my dad's a big truck lover too. So I bought that for him. He just hasn't collected it yet, because he's rough around the edges, my old man. And if you give him something like really nice, he won't drive it.
No.
So you're mid-range.
You let him actually enjoy it.
Power. If you go inside, the guy who owned it was a girl actually. The girl who owned it had a dog. The dog was eating all the seats inside. It's perfect for my dad. He'll actually get in.
He'll love it.
Here we go, and it's got everything on it.
And then there's this. I mean,
so the AF10. I mean, what a machine. You know, this is a prototype machine built by Arash, and I've got to say, it's one of the most beautiful race cars I've ever driven in my life. That's what this thing is. This is a hypercar. You know, this is not the 60 in pretty much under 3 seconds. Over 200 mile an hour car, fully carbon fiber, and I mean, it's just epic.
Another
epic
level,
machine.
isn't it?
You know, it's funny. Like you try to get these hypercars to do donuts, and a lot of them could struggle. This thing goes around on a penny, and that's why I bought it. Like.
So it's no surprise Shane Lynch, the drift driver, liked my Ferrari Rocher. It's great for doing donuts, as we proved earlier. I could almost see the plans formulating for this fake Ferrari in Shane's head. So I was more curious than ever to see what they were. So what's your plan then, Shane? What are you going to do with the Ferrari Rocher?
Do you know what? I haven't been this excited for a long time. I've been waiting for this car to arrive here. And now that it's here, I'm even more excited, because actually I think it's amazing to bring something like this and to kind of give it a big lease of life, like a massive lease of life. So I'm an all black everything man, so red's not in the forte whatsoever. So she's gone in for obviously a colour change. But under that colour change, we're kind of GT spec it anyway. So roll cage it, we'll make it into what you'd basically see like a Le Mans style F40, but we're going to LSXR it, sequential box, possibly even supercharged. But either way, this is going to tip between anything from 800 to 1,000 brake horse, and I will give anybody a run for their money once this thing is done.
The deal is though, when it's done, you've got to take me out for the first ride, deal?
The deal is when it's done, you can have the first drive.
Oh, it's going to escalate quickly, isn't it? There she is, boys. She's been delivered, and that's another episode of Make or Break. We bought it, we've repaired it, we got it running, and we sold it. And you know what, guys? It's not about the money. It's about enjoying yourself and having the fun and the experiences, and that's the main thing here.
Look at beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car.
Hopefully by now you know that I'm releasing a video every single Wednesday. And every single Wednesday I'm also going to give you a helpful tip in buying or selling cars. In this helpful episode I'm going to tell you about selling cars. There's a company out there called WeBuyAnyCar.com, and there's lots of other companies like it which will take the hassle and the stress out of buying cars. But guys, is this the option for you? Is it the right option? Is it the easiest option? Guys, you must understand that these companies are there to take the stress out of it. That doesn't mean you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Remember guys, the figure they give you on the screen isn't always the figure you're going to get there. That number can drop depending on the vehicle's condition, age and service history. Guys, please be prepared to take a little bit of a kick-in on that original figure that you see on that website. Remember guys, it may be better to put that car on Facebook, YouTube, eBay, or even take it to your local car dealer, because they might be able to give you a better price.
Obviously we're on YouTube, releasing a new episode every Wednesday, but follow what we're releasing and watch everything else we're doing on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and even TikTok.
Guys, would you like one extra episode every week? Put it in the comments below. If we feel that there is the need for another episode every week, we'll start doing it for you lovely people. Stay classy. Goodbye.